Okay, so once again, I welcome all of you to Q&A session, and I'm Shweta Singh, your chemistry teacher. So when I was muted, you can't hear me. I asked you people, how are you all doing? So, okay, Isabel is saying I'm very fine. What about others? Fine. Okay, Puvina. Okay, so after a long time, you are having the chemistry session. We are about to finish this chapter. Okay, so let's talk about the today's topic. And as you can see, today's topic is petroleum. But before we move ahead, let's talk about the topic what we did in the last session. We will just go through it. Okay, we will just go through it. So we discussed about the destructive distillation of coal. What was destructive distillation of coal? Can anybody tell me just in one line? Come on, fast. No one? Yes, Thamiza. I don't know how to pronounce this name, but Thamizasai, right? Tell me. You can unmute yourself.
I'm raising my hand.
I can't hear you properly.
Ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes, Chetra.
Can,
Yeah,
can
yeah,
I
tell me.
say that
Yeah.
it's the heating of coal at a very high temperature in the absence of air.
Can you repeat again?
It's the heating of coal at a very high temperature in the absence of air.
Very good. So what, when you're saying the high temperature, it should be about how
Around
much?
1000 degrees Celsius.
1000 degrees Celsius, exactly. So when we heat, we get three products: coal gas, coal tar, and coke. Right. So we know like what are different uses, what are their characteristics. These all things were discussed in the last session. So can you answer now which is the purest form of carbon?
Anthracite.
Sorry? Yes, Chatra, what did you say? Very good, Sai. It's coke. Very good. Okay, so purest form of carbon is coke. We discussed this in the last session. That's why we use coke in steel industry because it's a pure form. Okay. What is coal gas and what are its uses? What is coal gas? How will you explain it? Coal gas. Sai, you can unmute yourself. You don't have to write every time. It takes time. What is coal gas?
And coal gas was used for the lighting for the first time in London in 1810 and in New York in 1820.
First of all, your voice is not clear. Second, I believe you are telling me the uses.
To generate electricity, used as
Uh,
fuel in
your voice is not clear, Sai. That's why I'm not able to hear. Like I can hear you, but it's not clear to me. Okay, Anika.
Ma'am, coal gas is a gaseous mixture made mainly composed of hydrogen, methane, and carbon monoxide, and it's
Sorry,
primarily.
I didn't tell you hydrogen. I didn't tell you
Ma'am,
hydrogen.
ma'am, in the textbook it's written like that. I studied the textbook.
So are you talking about NCRT?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'll just see once again. Fine.
And its uses are it's used to like as a fuel to generate
Yeah, I got the answer from Sai.
electricity
Used to
power.
generate electricity and used as fuel in industries. Thank you, Sai. Thank you, Anika. So coal gas is the product which is formed during the destructive distillation of coal, and the main components you need to tell whatever we discussed. Next, what is the difference between coke and coal? What will you tell? Yes, Chatra.
Ma'am, coke, coke is the product formed by the destructive distillation of coal.
Okay.
And coal, it's a fossil fuel that is classified into types on the basis of carbon.
Right. Coal is a fossil fuel which takes a very long period to form, whereas coke is, comparatively can be formed easily by the destructive distillation of coal. During using shorter period as compared to the coal. And coal has other elements also. It has carbon, but it has other elements also. But coke is almost the pure form of carbon, right? So
Yes.
these were the questions we did. And now here comes one question. Explain the process of formation of petroleum. So now we'll be looking for the answer of this question, what we are going to do today, right? So we will try to learn about the petroleum, and then you will be able to answer this fourth question. Let's start today's topic now. So the prerequisite of this topic is sediments, and we already discussed what is sediment, right? Fine. So coming to the topic weightage, petroleum will carry 1 to 3 marks. So this is the average weightage of your petroleum topic. Now in this topic, we will be discussing about petroleum, what is petroleum, and then about refining of petroleum. These two things we are going to discuss in this particular session. So let's start now. Okay. Yes, Sai, are you writing something? Okay, so now we will find out the answer of the question. How is, explain the process of the formation of petroleum. So this is the first thing we will be learning about petroleum, formation of petroleum and natural gas also. But details of the natural gas will be taken up in the next session. Okay, so just see, this process is almost similar to the formation of coal, which is again a fossil fuel, right? Petroleum, natural gas, coal, they are all what? Fossil fuels. So so the formation process will be almost similar to the formation of coal, right? Okay, so first of all, the first step during the formation of coal, there was marine animals, right? There were marine animals, and over a period of million of years, these marine animals died, right? And they died and got buried deep under the sea, at the bottom of the sea, right? So the tiny marine organisms, they died and settled on the ocean floor. Okay, that was the first step. And when did it happen? Millions of years ago. Okay, then what happened over the time? The layer of the dead organisms got covered beneath the sediments, right? Beneath the sediments. Then what happened? When it got buried under the sediments, then under the high temperature and pressure, right? Just give me a second. Yeah. So under the high temperature and pressure, just give me a second. What happened? Why the pen is not moving here? Yeah. So we said millions of years ago, the marine animals, died and got buried under the sea, means ocean floor, and then sediments got deposited over them. When sediments got deposited over them, then what happened? the temperature and pressure both rose, right? Okay, so I don't know why is it happening right now. Fine. So enormous heat and pressure transformed these remains into the petroleum and natural gas. Okay, so let me repeat once again this part. So when sediments got deposited over them, then what happened? Temperature rose, pressure rose, they got compressed, the temperature rose, and one thing more, in absence of air, right? This all happened in absence of air. Okay, so due to which the petroleum and natural gas formed. Am I clear? The process of formation of petroleum. Am I clear? Okay, so Kevin, can you once again explain the whole process here? Kevin, am I audible? Okay, so Puvina, can you explain the process of formation of petroleum? Puvina, can you unmute yourself? Okay, so who can unmute? Isabel, can you unmute yourself? So let's go ahead with the, the process once again, because I'm not getting the answer from you guys. So what happened over the period of millions of years, right? What happened? The tiny marine animals, right? The tiny marine organisms, they died and settled on the ocean floor. Then what happened? After that, layers of the dead organisms was covered beneath the sediments. So basically sediments got the clay and the sand, they got deposited over them. When they got deposited over them, then what happened? Enormous heat and pressure was generated, right? And all this was happening in absence of air. So in absence of air, under high temperature and under high pressure, the remains of the tiny marine organisms got transformed into the petroleum and natural gas. I hope now the process is clear. So let's make the flow chart here. Let's try to make the flow chart here. Fine. Okay, so let's make flow chart now. Okay, so further what is written here, these remains got the petroleum and the your natural gas, they were under the rocks, right? They were under the rocks. So rising through the porous rocks like sandstone, petroleum and natural gas reached a layer of impermeable rock and were trapped below it. So from the porous rock, they rose above, but once they got arranged above that porous rock, what happened? Above that, impermeable, right? Impermeable rock was present, so they can't go further up. So they got arranged between the rocks, between the layers of the rock. Am I clear? So where do we find petroleum and natural gas? Between the rocks. Okay. And above them, they have impermeable rock. So they can't move further. They can't come up to the, surface of the earth. Okay. So let's, once again, let's make the flow chart of it. Yeah. So Shall we make the flow chart? How shall we start? What should be the first step? Yeah, what should be the first step here?
The ocean organisms got like they died.
Okay, so you are telling me tiny marine organisms died. Okay, that was the first step. And when was this happening? Millions
Millions
of
of years ago.
years ago. So what happened? Tiny marine organisms died. Then what shall I write? They died. Then what happened? Tell me,
They
guys, you
got
have to complete the
buried
flow
under
chart.
sediments.
Okay, so basically, no, they got buried
They
on the
settled to the
seabed,
bottom of the
right? On the seabed, or they got deposited rather on the ocean floor. You can write anything. Okay, then you said sediment. So clay and sand deposited over their remains. Then so as they got covered
enormous heat was
by, yes, as they were covered by sediments, enormous heat and pressure transformed what?
the remains.
Yeah, transformed the remains into
Petroleum and natural gas.
Petroleum and natural gas. So these are the important points that you should mention while writing the answer. So whenever you are practicing, revising, just try to make the flow chart like this. Try to memorize in the form of flow chart, so it will be easier for you. Okay, fine. And then what happened? What was the last thing written over there? At last, we need to mention rising through porous rocks like sandstone, petroleum and natural gas reached a layer of impermeable rock, reached a layer of impermeable rock and were trapped below it. Trapped below it means what? Between rocks, right? Trapped between the rocks. Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so basically something is like this, like if this is my, you must have seen the diagram in NCRT. So below we have the reservoir rock, and then we have different products like basically fossil fuel, petroleum, natural gas, as well as we have water, and over them we have impermeable rock. So below we have reservoir rock, from which are porous, basically from where they are coming to the above layer, right? And here we have petroleum, then we have gas, natural gas, and we have water, and above it we have impermeable rock, right? Impermeable rock. So if I have to arrange petroleum, gas, and water, how will they be arranged? What do you think? Are they intermixed with each other? These three uh, things, petroleum, gas, and water, are they intermixed with each other, or they are present in different layers? What do you think? So we have petroleum, oil, gas, and water. So how would they be present in between the rocks? Intermixed with each other or in different layers? Different layers. So Chaitra, what do you think? Bottom to top. What should be the different layers? Bottom to top. Yes, guys, anyone can answer. At the bottom, which layer? At the top, which layer? Anyone? Okay, Chatra is answering. So at the bottom, which layer should be there? We have oil, water, and gas. If I have oil, water, and gas, okay, so if I compare the density of oil and water, which actually floats? Which layer is above water or oil? When you have the layers of oil and water. I'm not talking about the petroleum. If we have oil and water, which should be above? Oil should be above. Why? Because its density is low, right? So below we should have water. Above the water, lower density, that is oil. And above that, gas, right? Above that, gas. So when I'm talking about the density, what do I mean by density? So density is mass per unit volume. So means in given volume, how much mass is present, right? So whichever is having the higher mass in the same amount of the volume, then we will say that, okay, its density is high. So the denser thing used to be below, and the substance which will be having lower density will be above. So gas must be having the uh, lower density, the lowest density in these three, so it will be above these two layers. Okay, so do remember, because you have a topic on the basis of density in your platform, so you will attempt the questions from there. Okay, now coming to the refining of petroleum. Let's see refining of petroleum now. So when we say refining of petroleum, these are done in oil refineries. Okay, this is something which is done in the oil refineries. So this is the actual picture of the system. How does it the whole setup of the refinery. Actually, it's not refinery. Here we are actually taking out the petroleum from the impermeable rock. So here actually drilling is done. Okay, drilling is done here. So it's not refining, it's actually extraction of the petroleum from the rock. So in this way, we actually drill below the impermeable rock and take out the oil like this. Okay, so this is how it works. So petroleum and natural gas are extracted by drilling through the impermeable rock. So this is just the extraction of petroleum and natural gas. Refining hasn't been started yet. Yes, Isabel? Do you want to say something? Okay, fine. Now, as the Sai has written about the petroleum, that petroleum is, or the crude oil, you can call it crude oil, is a complex mixture of solid, liquid, and gaseous hydrocarbon. So it is dark, oily liquid having unpleasant smell. Okay, so what are the characteristics? What are the properties of petroleum or the crude oil? It is dark, oily liquid, which has complex mixture of solid, liquid, and gaseous hydrocarbons. Now, we want to separate all these substances, right? And separation of all these components from the petroleum is called refining of petroleum. Am I clear what is refining? When we separate all the substances which are present in the petroleum. Okay, so that is refining. Okay, So this is the oil refinery. So it is separated into useful substances through a process called refining of petroleum, which is done in oil refineries. Have you seen any oil refinery? Anyone? I'm not saying have you gone there. I'm just from far away. Have you ever seen? No, no one? Okay, fine, no issue. Okay, so how does it happen actually? So first of all, the process of separating the various fractions of petroleum is known as refining. Do write this definition. What is refining of petroleum? The process of separating the various fractions. When I say various fractions, the substances which are present in petroleum and they are useful for us. Okay. So the process of separating the various fractions of petroleum is known as refining. Have you written? Done? Okay. Fine. So it is carried out in oil refinery or petroleum refinery, and it is done with the help of fractionating column. Okay, so the process what we use for the refining petroleum is called fractional distillation. Fractional distillation. Okay, so where the products, the different products of the petroleum, or basically different components of the petroleum, they are separated on the basis of boiling point. Okay, so they are separated on the basis of their boiling point. So their boiling points are very close to each other. They are not very, there is not much difference between their boiling points. That's why we take the help of fractionating column and we call it fractional distillation. Have you understood? What is the name of the process we use to refine petroleum? What is the separation technique used? Tell me. What is the separation technique used here? Answer me. Fractional distillation. We call it fractional distillation. And in fractional distillation, the different components are separated on the basis of? On the basis of?
Boiling point.
Exactly, on the basis of their boiling points. Their boiling points are very close to each other, and that's why we take the help of? We take the help of?
Fractionating column.
Exactly, fractionating column. Okay, fine. So this is something called fractionating column where we are having different horizontal trays. Now, what do we do? So this is where the distillation is happening. We are actually heating it up and the vapors are being formed. Now, vapors are sent in the fractionating column. So whatever the vapors are formed, they are sent in the fractionating column where different trays are kept, and that's why we are calling it fractions. Okay, different horizontal trays are kept. Okay, so petroleum is heated to 400 degrees Celsius. Fine. Petroleum is heated to 400 degrees Celsius and the vapors of petroleum rise inside the fractionating column, as I said. So they will start moving up because they are in the form of vapor. Then what will happen? They will cool and condense at different heights. So as they will move ahead above, they will lose energy. The vapors will lose energy and will start getting condensed. Condensed means what? From vapor to liquid state again. Okay, back to liquid state from gaseous state. So that do we mean that is the meaning of condense. Okay, from gaseous state they are converting back into the liquid state. How is it happening? When you heated it, The different components, they turned into vapor state. The vapor started moving above. Then what happened? They got cooled because they lost energy while moving above, and they got cooled and they got condensed, means they turned back into the liquid state from the vapor state. Okay, and they will start getting separated in different columns. So the component which will be having lower boiling point, okay, the component which will be having lower boiling point will be collected at top, and having whichever is having higher boiling point will be collected at the bottom. So in this way you will find different fractions, different components will start separating from each other. Am I clear? Am I clear about this process so far? Hamiz Isai, am I clear? Anika?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Fine. So depending upon their boiling points, they are collected in different trays. So first we have petroleum gas, which is having the boiling point below 40 degrees Celsius. So you actually heated up till 400 degrees Celsius. But as the temperature rose to 40 degrees Celsius, the petroleum gas got separated. Okay, now petroleum gas is something which is used as domestic fuel in its liquefied form, and that is LPG. So what is the full form of LPG? What is the full form of LPG?
Liquefied petroleum gas.
Exactly, liquefied petroleum gas. Okay, now if I ask you what are the main components of liquefied petroleum gas, then what are you going to tell? The main components, which are the main gases in LPG? So, Huvin, are you giving the answer? No, petroleum gas, but petroleum gas is itself having, different gases, or I should rather say hydrocarbon. So mainly LPG has propane, butane, isobutane. These three are the main components. Okay, these three are the main components of LPG. Do remember. And is it visible to you, all the names of the gases?
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. And you have a specific smell of LPG. So whenever it leaks, you come to know by smelling it, right? So actually some other chemical is included in LPG to make it smell like this. Do you know which component? What is the name of the chemical? Ethyl mercaptan, right? Ethyl mercaptan is actually giving you the smell. Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Am I clear to everyone? So do write these things. These are out of syllabus, but you should know these are some general points. Propane, butane, and isobutane, they are the main gases of LPG. And the ethyl mercaptan is the chemical which is giving it characteristic smell. Okay, now between 40 to 170 degrees Celsius, we got another component here, another fraction, which is called petrol. And I don't have to tell you what is the use of petrol. So it is used as fuel in automobiles. Okay, it is used as fuel in automobiles. And the uses are important: dry cleaning and various chemicals. Fine. So uses are very important. Do remember. Okay, next. Next, we have 170 to 250 degrees Celsius. So around 170 to 250 degrees Celsius, kerosene gets separated. Okay, so kerosene gets separated, and you know very well how is kerosene used. Kerosene is used as fuel in lamps and stoves. Okay. Fine. Coming to the next component, and that is separated at around 250 to 350 degrees Celsius, and this is diesel. Okay, this is diesel. So diesel is used as fuel in heavy motor vehicles as well as in generators. These are some simple points, but as I said, uses are important. All the fractions are important and their uses also. So around 350 to 400 degrees Celsius, the fifth component got separated. That is fuel oil. Fuel oil is used for power stations and ships. Okay, power stations and ships. Then comes lubricating oil. Okay, lubricating oil. So lubricating oil is now very dense, very viscous. It is used for lubrication. Okay, it is used for giving lubrication to the machines. Then in making candles, so basically the portion which is separated is called paraffin wax, right? Paraffin wax, which is giving you candles, and Vaseline, right? So Vaseline is also obtained from the petroleum only. Okay. And then we have ointments also, which is obtained from petroleum. Okay. In road making, so in making road, there is another component which got separated during refining, and that is bitumen. Okay, that is bitumen, which is used in making roads. So these are some important points that you should know. All the fractions what we discussed here, right? Just let me show you. So all these 6 fractions you should know: petroleum gas, then petrol, kerosene, diesel, fuel oil, and lubricating oil. So it shows that petroleum gas, petrol has lower boiling point as compared to kerosene, and kerosene having lower than the diesel. Fine. So you should know all these components which got separated, and you should know their uses as we discussed here. Fine. So anyway, we will discuss it again in the next session. So if I ask you, petrol is used as a fuel in light automobiles such as motorcycles, scooters, cars, while heavy vehicles like trucks and tractors run on diesel, fuel oil, lubricating oil, or petroleum gas. Come on. I showed you the answer.
Diesel.
The answer here is option A, that is diesel. Okay. Next one. Which of the following is not a petroleum product? Is not a petroleum product?
C.
Exactly. That is beeswax, which is not a petroleum product. Okay, so now you need to do these questions. What do you mean by refining of petroleum? Name the various components of petroleum and their uses. These are questions. And third, where is the process of refining of petroleum carried out? Please take the screenshot of these 3 questions. These are your homework. These 3 questions are your homework. Take the screenshot. Okay. So in this session, we discussed what is petroleum and how is it formed. And then we discussed about the extraction of petroleum and refining of petroleum. What is the technique used and what is the concept behind it? We did everything. Okay, so in next session, we will revise it and we will discuss about the natural gas and limited natural resources. These will be the topic of the next session, and that will be our last session of this chapter. So after that, the chapter will be completed. Okay? Understood?
Yes.
Okay, so as you know, the practice session is from 6 to 7. Do be, be available there. And when is your practice session? From 6 to 7 only?
Yes.
Okay, so be available at that time. Thank you, everyone.